It was the year 1981. A cool evening in Burbank, California. The Tonight Show was in full swing, and Johnny Carson was at the peak of his brilliance. The studio lights were bright, the audience laughter rolled like thunder, and the legendary host was doing what he did best, making America smile. But that night would be different. That night, something happened that would be remembered as one of the most emotional moments in television history. Johnny had invited his close friend, the beloved actor Jack Lemmon, onto the show. The two shared a friendship that went beyond Hollywood, built on mutual respect and warm humor. The conversation began lightly, with stories from the set, funny incidents, and gentle teasing between two icons who had seen it all. The audience was loving every second. But then, out of nowhere, the tone shifted. Johnny asked Jack about his latest film, a movie that dealt with aging, regret, and the passage of time. Jack's smile softened, his eyes dropped for a moment, and the room fell quiet. Johnny leaned forward, curious yet compassionate, unaware of the words that were about to stop the show. Jack looked at him and said 7 words that no one would ever forget. "Johnny, we don't laugh forever, you know." The studio fell silent. Johnny froze. The audience could feel the weight of those words hang in the air. For a moment, the comedian known for his wit was speechless. He looked at Jack, and you could see the emotion in his eyes, a mix of reflection, sadness, and understanding. Those words hit him deeply, reminding everyone watching that even the funniest moments are fleeting. Johnny put down his pencil, leaned back, and let out a small breath, as if he was processing the truth of what his friend had just said. The crowd didn't know whether to clap or stay silent. And then Johnny simply said, "Jack, you always know how to hit the heart without trying." The two men shared a long, honest look, the kind of moment that only happens when two legends understand the fragility of time. Johnny finally smiled, trying to bring back the lightness, but his voice trembled just enough for everyone to notice. "Maybe not forever," he said, "but tonight we'll laugh together." The audience erupted into applause, some with tears in their eyes. It wasn't just entertainment anymore, it was humanity. After the show, people all over America talked about that moment. Newspapers wrote about it, fans replayed it, and those who knew Johnny said it changed him. From that night on, he spoke often about gratitude, time, and the importance of the people who make life worth living. In later interviews, Johnny recalled that night as one of his most powerful memories, saying, "Jack reminded me that behind every laugh, there's a life story." That one conversation, those 7 words, stopped The Tonight Show and started a lifetime of reflection for millions watching. It proved that even the brightest stars carry a shadow of emotion beneath their glow, and that sometimes the most powerful television moments aren't scripted. They're real, raw, and forever etched in the hearts of those who witness them. As the show ended, that night, the mood inside the studio remained unusually quiet. Johnny Carson, known for his ability to keep things light, sat at his desk a little longer than usual. Jack Lemmon gave him a gentle pat on the shoulder before walking off stage, leaving Johnny lost in thought. The band played softly, but even the music carried a different tone. Reflective, almost melancholic. Viewers at home could feel it, too. It wasn't just another episode of The Tonight Show. It was a moment that made millions pause and think about life, friendship, and how quickly time moves. The next morning, News outlets across the country were talking about it. Johnny Carson stopped cold by Jack Lemmon's words, one headline read. Audiences flooded NBC with letters, sharing their own reflections on what those 7 words meant to them. People wrote about lost friends, fading joy, and the bittersweet beauty of laughter. Johnny read many of those letters himself. Those who worked with him said he was quiet for days after the episode, as if something inside him had shifted. He began to open up more on the show, sharing little moments of vulnerability between the jokes. His monologues still made millions laugh, but there was a new depth behind every smile. Jack Lemmon, in later interviews, said he never intended to create that kind of moment. I just spoke from the heart, he admitted. Johnny and I both knew that comedy is born from life, and life isn't always funny. Fans often revisit that clip today, calling it one of the most touching exchanges in late-night television history. It reminds us that even legends like Carson and Lemmon felt the same fears, joys, and sorrows we all do. That night in 1981, The Tonight Show wasn't just a stage. It was a mirror reflecting humanity at its most honest. And for Johnny Carson, those 7 words became a quiet reminder that the laughter he shared with the world wasn't just for fun. It was his gift, his legacy, and his way of saying that even if we don't laugh forever, the memories of those moments will. In the weeks that followed, that unforgettable night, Johnny Carson couldn't shake the emotion Jack Lemmon's words had stirred within him. Crew members said they often caught him sitting alone after rehearsals, reflecting on his years behind the desk, and the countless lives his show had touched. That moment became a turning point, not just for Johnny, but for the entire Tonight Show. Viewers began to see a softer, more human side of him, a man who understood that comedy and compassion could coexist. Ratings soared, but more importantly, the connection between Johnny and his audience deepened like never before. Fan mail arrived by the thousands, many sharing how that simple conversation helped them appreciate life's fleeting beauty. Johnny would occasionally mention that night during future episodes, calling it one of those rare moments you never plan but never forget. Jack Lemmon later said that Johnny told him, in private, that night, you reminded me why I started doing this in the first place. It wasn't about fame or fortune. It was about making people feel something real. Decades later, that clip still circulates across the internet, drawing tears from new generations who never even saw the show live. Historians of television call it the heartbeat of late night, a testament to the power of authenticity in a world obsessed with applause. And when fans watch it today, they don't just see 2 icons sharing a stage. They see 2 friends sharing a truth. A truth that laughter may fade, but the feelings it leaves behind last forever. As the years passed, that emotional moment between Johnny Carson and Jack Lemmon became one of the most talked-about clips in television history. Critics, fans, and fellow entertainers revisited it, time and time again, calling it a perfect example of humanity on live TV. Johnny, usually the master of timing and control, had let his guard down completely, and that made viewers love him even more. Behind the scenes, producers said the energy that night was unlike anything they had ever felt. The audience was silent, yet every heartbeat in the room seemed to sync together. Jack Lemmon, known for his own emotional depth and warm personality, later revealed that he too had been fighting back tears. During that conversation, he said it wasn't just about Hollywood or fame, but about the fragility of life and friendship. The two men shared a connection that went beyond cameras, beyond applause. In the years that followed, whenever they met, they would smile and say, "Remember that night?" And both knew exactly what it meant. Fans who watched it live said it felt like they were witnessing something holy, a moment where the curtain between celebrity and humanity completely disappeared. Even decades later, that clip still resonates, a reminder that the strongest moments in entertainment aren't scripted, they're felt. After that night, viewers wrote thousands of letters to NBC, thanking Johnny Carson and Jack Lemmon for showing the world that real emotion still had a place in television. Johnny, who rarely spoke about personal feelings, publicly later admitted that the moment changed the way he viewed his own show. He realized that beyond the laughter, people tuned in because they felt connected, because they saw themselves in the stories, the guests, and the emotions that occasionally slipped through the cracks of comedy. Jack Lemmon became even closer to Johnny. After that episode, often saying that their friendship was built on respect, honesty, and shared vulnerability. In a later interview, Jack said, "That night, we weren't acting. We were just being human." Those 7 words he spoke on The Tonight Show became legendary, quoted by fans and media outlets as a defining moment of television history. Film historians still reference it as a turning point when late-night entertainment transcended humor and became something deeper. Today, that clip circulates online, reposted by fans who never even lived through the era but still feel its power. It reminds everyone that Johnny Carson wasn't just the king of late night. He was a man who understood the power of emotion, and Jack Lemmon's words gave him a chance to show it. That night stayed with Johnny Carson forever. He often said it was the first time The Tonight Show stopped being just entertainment and became something deeper. Jack Lemmon's 7 words reminded everyone watching that even in a world built on laughter, tears have their place. 2. Viewers wrote letters saying they'd never seen anything so real on television. Years later, that moment still circulates online, proof that emotion can outshine comedy. Johnny and Jack's friendship grew stronger after that, built on mutual respect and humanity. It wasn't just a show. It was a reminder that even legends feel too.